Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's YT Wake 'em Up, back at it again with another video. This one right here gonna be a little more serious, man. Yesterday I had fun, but now let's get back to the business. I just want to say I appreciate everybody that's been watching these videos on the daily. Y'all said y'all want them, so I'm gonna keep bringing them. Listen, they working on the roof where I stay at. I'm gonna keep it real. So if y'all hear some banging, hey, y'all just gotta act like y'all don't, man. Ignore it and keep on watching, man. Can't nothing stop us. We gonna keep these coming. Y'all said y'all want to see these videos, so we gonna keep them coming. Y'all read the title, y'all know what this one about. It's self-explanatory. Listen, I got a couple rules for y'all like y'all know. As always, I need everybody to thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out for me. And if you're brand new to the channel, smash the subscribe button so you can get these videos popping up in your subscription box. And turn on that bell so you can be notified when I post. With that said, y'all, let's get into it.
I don't know if y'all be reading and paying attention to the news, but the economy is in a terrible spot right now. I mean, you got major retail stores that are closing up hundreds of locations just this year. You got Walgreens closing over 150 stores. You got Macy's closing over 100 stores. Foot Locker closing over 400 stores. CVS Pharmacy is closing 900 stores. Family Dollar closing 600 stores. Rue 21 closing 540 stores. I mean, the list goes on and on, from Best Buy, Dollar Tree, Express, even Walmart is closing down 7 of its supercenters. On top of that, you have the major layoffs. Like Google done already laid off almost 12,000 people. eBay just laid off 1,000 people. Microsoft just laid off 1,900 people. UPS just laid off 12,000 people. Like, bro, it's only May. Even Tesla is laying off over 10% of its entire workforce. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention Apple, a company that's worth $2 trillion, is closing 400 of its retail locations this year. I couldn't even tell y'all what all of that means because truthfully, I don't even know myself. But if you anybody like me, you will find it ironic that it's all happening at once. But y'all let me know what y'all think.
That's real. Brick and mortar is becoming a thing of the past. If you don't know what brick and mortar is, it's basically storefronts. It's like physical buildings. Let's just put it like that. It's physical stores. Brick stores, brick and mortar. A lot of them are closing by the thousands. We talking about the top name stores and companies. We talking about Walgreens, Big Lots, you know, the household names. They're closing down. So if these billion-dollar corporations can't hold on, that shows that the economy is being decimated. The economy is in a bad state for real. It's in a bad position. These businesses are struggling to hold on. A lot of them have been taking losses for months, some of them even years, right? So they back against the wall. Some of them got to file bankruptcy, take their L. But like I told y'all before, as y'all know, we're headed towards the fourth industrial revolution, which is us basically living in a digital world. Everything is coming digital now. You got e-commerce. E-commerce is way bigger than brick and mortar. You can reach the whole world through the power of the internet versus having one physical location that people got to come to, if you get what I'm saying. And you can do all of that from your laptop. So it's more beneficial because you're spending out less. You ain't got to rent no physical location. You can have a virtual address, a laptop, and ship out orders from your house and be $1 million company. Or just get a fulfillment center, pay for, you know, the amount of storage that you have and for each package that's going to go out. So now this is the new thing. Everything will be done online. You know, Amazon, that ain't going nowhere. Amazon ain't going nowhere. But still, you order through them online. They have the biggest online marketplace for real. That's a little different than all of these other stores. Like Walmart really don't compare to Amazon. Walgreens don't compare to Amazon. Walmart is trying to get their online presence as strong as Amazon's, but it's not the same thing. And I'm not saying e-commerce is bigger as far as sales. I'm saying e-commerce is bigger as far as the online sellers, right? It's only about 1.67 million brick and mortar stores, you know, physical stores. But you compare that to e-commerce, and based on the research that I did, it's about 13.98, just say about almost 14 million e-commerce sites. So these are online stores, right? So that's a lot bigger. And at the same time too, really the item that you really want when you go in the store, they don't even have. They'll tell you go online and order it. It's like, I might as well order everything online instead of wasting my time. I shouldn't even came in here. You see what I'm saying? So e-commerce really gonna be the wave, online businesses, and we're gonna see a lot of stores close down, a lot more, because we are seeing a lot already, but we're gonna see a lot more. We're gonna see brick and mortar be a thing of the past, and we're gonna see these buildings actually be turned into housing, especially these warehouses. They're gonna turn them into housing. It's gonna be turned into small apartments. Y'all can quote me on that, like studio apartments. Quote me on that.
Let me just give you my take on the economy as a small business owner. Here's why I'm worried. I own a coffee shop with a friend. We've been in business together 11 years. At the height of it, before COVID, we had 3 coffee shops. Now, we lost 2 of those during COVID, but we came out of it okay with our flagship store that's been in business for 11 years and our company's debt-free. And I'll say this, I'm more worried about business now than ever because I've seen my sales continue to increase year over year for the last 11 years straight. I have less debt as a company than I've ever had. It's still mostly owner operated, but because of the cost of products and the inflation in taxes and the inflation in banking fees and the inflation in payroll, my profits are shrinking as my sales increase. And my employees are strained because they need to make more money to pay for everyday things, and I can't afford to give them a raise. I also can't afford to raise prices because the consumer is tapped out and my prices are already higher than they should be because of all these things. So as it gets worse and worse, my sales are increasing and my profits are doing this. The reason I'm so concerned is because I truly believe the consumer is tapped out. And soon those sales numbers are going to start to plummet. And as those sales numbers start to plummet, it's going to be game over for every small business in America. I'm already seeing it happen all over town where I'm operating. I'm seeing restaurant after restaurant after restaurant close their doors. I've seen 3 in the last month that have been in business just as long as I have throw it in and say we can't do this anymore. So my perspective is from that of a small business. And I'm telling you, it's my opinion that this economy is in grave danger and that we are on borrowed time. That's just my personal opinion. Do with that what you will.
Sense of why people are actually in my comments begging for an economic collapse to happen.
If I had to put my finger on it, I would say it's because the economy has already collapsed for about half of the country. These are the people that are working harder than they've ever worked, making more dollars than they've ever made, and going backward faster than they've ever gone before. This is if they have a job, assuming. Or it's not a matter of, like, do they have a job? It's how many jobs do they have? Because in a lot of cases, people have 5, 6 jobs that they're trying to do, and they're trying to juggle everything. Oh, and a whole bunch, and they're all a bunch of side hustles. At a certain point, people get really, really sick and tired of that shit, and right now, a whole bunch of the country is finally starting to say, hold on, this is all the fault of a worthless goddamn dollar that's been printed to complete dog shit level currency. And it is. This is why they have a whole bunch of fucking illegals come into the country to try and prop that shit up, and they're all being subsidized. Of course, the American people aren't being subsidized at all. In fact, what they get is inflation and eviction notices. And on top of that, as far as real estate's concerned, let's talk about that. You've got a whole nation of people, a whole bunch of real estate bros trying to tell everybody to leverage themselves to the gills to buy $400,000 houses to rent them out to make $300 a month in fucking cash flow. Are you serious? That's the stupidest goddamn thing I've ever heard. Why would you take on that much risk for $300 a month? You'd be better off doing anything else than that. Yet they still do it. And all this does is keep propping up this ridiculous economy that doesn't actually work anymore. And people are seeing it. So when you see people saying we want an economic collapse, what they're saying is, dude, this isn't working for us. That may be great that it's working for a handful of fucking boomers that already made all their money and got bailed out in 2008. People are getting sick of it because those of us that didn't get bailed out in 2008, we get to pay for all this, right? So that tends to make people really angry. In 2008, had this all been allowed to collapse and there was no bailouts, right, then this wouldn't be happening right now. Housing prices would have collapsed then, right along with all kinds of companies that should have got out of business long time ago. You have companies now that can't afford to actually keep people employed anymore. So they're making up every excuse in the world. This is where you get these performance reviews, where you bring the employee in and give them a fake review so that you have an excuse to not give them a raise or a promotion, looking for anything that they could have done wrong. This ridiculous level of standards that nobody can actually live up to. And companies are doing this kind of stuff. So more and more people see this, and more people that are in the working class are really starting to actually get very pissed off about it. And as far as truck drivers, speaking as a truck driver, one who does all that job, no, I'll still roll, but I just won't roll for dollars, right? Fuck the dollar. It's a dead currency. In fact, people should be stopping paying taxes right now because clearly they can print as much as they want anytime they feel like it. So why wouldn't they want an economic collapse? For many people, actually, a complete and total collapse of the system means a shuffling of the deck, and it actually means there's a good chance they could actually be back on that they could be on the top of the stack just because, I don't know, maybe they're competent. When you have a destruction of competency, which is what we've seen right now in this country, the competent people check out and say, dude, this is stupid. Why the hell am I going to work my ass off to not get ahead? That's what you're seeing. I did a whole video on that very topic. So if you're wondering why it is that people want an economic collapse, They should. It's long overdue. This is a stupid economy. It's fake. None of this should exist any longer. Politically speaking, look at what's going on with this. Nobody wants any of these people. None of them are any good. Nobody wants to vote for any of these fucking people any longer. Why would they? They're a bunch of checked out goddamn boomers. And the ones that aren't boomers, all they're doing is spending their time in Congress or in the halls of Congress just trying to make money and launder it through Ukraine and to continue genocide all over the world. So, like, why wouldn't they want to collapse? No, the fact is the dollar is the single biggest problem that we have. And it's the one thing that unites all of us in the disaster in which we all currently find ourselves. If that goes away, then that means another currency can come in that's hard asset based or just straight hard assets altogether, and we can find actual values. And the fact is, the people that are on the bottom of all this, that are doing all the goddamn work in this country, they're the ones who finally get to make all the money back, because they're the ones that are the competent ones. And so when they start charging whatever real money to be paid to do all the shit work that nobody else wants to do, those people get to be successful this time, and not a bunch of fucking boomers, and a bunch of people doing Zoom meetings all goddamn day, pretending to work.
He hit the nail right in the coffin on that one. It's probably half the economy has already collapsed for real. That's a good way of putting it, because everybody not going through it. That's a good way of putting it, because really right now, it depends what state you live in. If you live in a big city or a small city, that matter too. If you live on the outskirts, it might be a little better. If you live in the countryside or something like that, it might be a little better, right? So this is the thing too. I want to know, what state do y'all live in? And how's the economy out there, man? Are y'all experiencing what everybody else is dealing with? Do you see restaurants closing down? Do you see stores closing down locally? Or when you drive just right outside of your city, wherever, like your normal commutes, wherever you go to? Do you see a lot of stores closing down? Are they having liquidation sales, going out of business sales, them 50% off sales? Are they having those?